Hey guys, welcome back to the Crazy Cozy Corner. I'm Brianna, and this is the Crazy Cozy Corner. We're doing this month's A to Z challenge with books Q, R, and S. So the Q book I'm reading is called Quiet. I don't have the book on me right now, but when I talk about it, like when I finish it, or if I want to give you updates, like I will show it. But it is just kind of talking about the power of being introverted and what could be indicators of introvertedness and how the world values extroverts and like those what are they called, those qualities more than introverted qualities. But then a lot of our great thinkers, not that extroverts can't be great thinkers, don't get me wrong, but a lot of our great thinkers were in fact introverted. And so it's kind of interesting to see like how the world kind of views it. And you like, to be a good leader, you have to have these extroverted traits, but it's not true, because like you need both. You need introverts and extroverts to kind of, there's a reason there's both, right? And so it's been very interesting because I myself am a little bit introverted. I am extremely drained when like people are around me, and to read, like I love being around people, but it's draining. So like I need to recharge. Don't like by my phone, stop. But I need to recharge after being with people. But yeah, I just, something interesting about a study was that it's a 40%, 40 to 50% chance to actually like indicate, and then you don't know how much of your introvertedness or extrovertedness is based on genetics. But there's also something like some research about high reactive and low reactive infants, and there's about, like I said, 40 to 50% chance that like if you're a high reactive, you are going to be introverted, and then like if you are low reactive, you're more likely to be extroverted. And that's like when infants are exposed to something new, there's like big reactions and little to no reactions, and just something interesting. I don't know what kind of baby I was. I'm interested to find out, but yeah, that is where I am on this A to Z challenge. So thanks for listening to my rambles. Okay, two things. I'm aware that I sound different. I've been going through it okay. But I finally finished the Q book for this challenge, and it's called Quiet. It's a it's about introverts, and how in the Western civilization, um, extroverts are more sought after, like the personality traits and stuff like that. When really, in all reality, you need both introverts and extroverts to kind of balance out a team and stuff like that. So it was just, talking about how introverts think, and I mean, every introvert's different, but it's like a generalization, how they balance extroverts and how they're good leaders. And there's misconceptions about how if you're an introvert, you can't be a leader and stuff like that. It just looks different. And I was really interested in this book because I myself am an introvert, um, but I also am able to be in social situations and, appear like obeying. Like, I mean, I do love people, but like in a more extroverted way. But really, it just drains me. But it also talks about the pseudo extroverts. It is a nonfiction book. I really enjoyed it. There's some quotes that I'm going to find and read to you. One says, "They enjoy small talk only after they've gone deep," says Strickland. "When sensitive people are in environments that nurture their authenticity, they laugh and chit chat just as anybody else." And honestly, that's exactly how I feel. Small talk, I don't really like doing it unless it's an established relationship, because it feels very shallow and like I don't actually want to get to know you. If it's the first thing I do with you, if we like go deep, then we can come back out into the shallow end of the pool because I already know that we have that connection. And so I was reading that and I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense to me. I don't know why I never really thought about it, but that was cool. There's also, I also talked about restorative niches or something like that. Is that what it's called?
Yes, restorative niches are like things that after you act in a way that's not energy giving, which for me would be in extroverted ways. It would be going home and reading or taking a bath or, something to wind down that gives me energy or gives you energy. That's called a restorative niche. I thought that was really cool. And there was another quote, let me find it. It said, one of the best things you can do for an introverted child is to work with him on his reaction to novelty. Remember that introverts react not only to new people, but also to new places and events. So don't mistake your child's caution in new situations for an inability to relate to others. He's recoiling from novelty or overstimulation, not from human contact. And that was legit. I mean, I have this hard time like going into big situations, and I know all these people, and I'm friends with or acquainted with each and every single one of them. But when it's such like a big crowd of a lot of people that I know and love, it's still so overstimulating that I don't feel like I fit, and it feels like so draining. Even though these people, when I'm one on one or in smaller groups, it's life giving. But in big groups, I just can't do that. So reading that, I thought that was really cool. But if you're an extrovert or even like an introvert, like extrovert introverts, like this is a good book to read to kind of understand introverts better. Introvert, I definitely would recommend this 10 out of 10.
Okay, hear me out. This angle is not flattering, but it's too messy in front of my bookshelf to sit there right now. Um, so surprise, hi. I'm filming this in September. Will this be out in September? I do not know. However, I will be posting this because I am trying to still do the A to Z challenge if I possibly can. And so, while I have not finished my Q book, I have indeed finished my R book, A River Enchanted, and I'm gagged. I enjoyed this book so much. And like the last few videos, I've been real struggle bussing with finding books that I enjoy, but this one was so good, start to finish. Um, yes, that's the correct term. um, but so we follow Jack Tamerlane and Adira. I assume she has the same last name. But Adira is the laird. And for the sake of me not butchering everything, she's basically the overseer of the East. Um, and Jack had been okay. Let's start over. We start out on the mainland. Jack is trying to get back to Cadence, which is the isle he was born on. So he gets taken via boat to his home island, which is a very magical place where the Fae and the winds and the spirits and everything are very active. Um, they help and harm. It just depends on how friendly or malevolent they're feeling. And there's two warring clans, the Bracken in the west and the Tamerlanes in the east. I'm pretty sure that's the name of their clan. Um, and so, two different clans. There's a clan line that they cannot cross without alerting one or the other. So, if a Easterner walks over the clan line to the West will be alerted through their captain via a scar. And same thing for the East, the West going to East, right? That's the basis. And we get to learn more about um, Adira. Her father is the current ruler, the overseer, and he's not doing well. And so she is his heir. And she had forged a document to get Jack to come back because Jack never intended to come back because he never felt he belonged because he never knew his dad. And so he was looked down upon for being an unclaimed child. And so, he's wrestling with all these feelings. And Adira was like his nemesis when they were younger. And he didn't really expect her to want him to come back because there was just a lot. She told him basically never to come back when they fought previously to him leaving. But alas, so what had been happening is they the East was thinking that the spirits were stealing their girls, because little girls were going missing, without a trace. And that just did not make sense, because if it's a person, usually there is a trace. But they're going missing. And so, you know, um, Adira had Jack come back because he's a bard, and she knew that her mother used to play for the spirits, and they would manifest in their forms and they could talk. And so Adira would do that. She no Adira wanted Jack to do that so that she could talk to the spirits to get them to, you know, tell them where their girls were. And so Jack will play for the water spirits, and their mouth has been sealed. So then they're going to play for the wind spirits. And no, not the wind. That's the last one. Excuse me. Then they play for the earth spirits, but their mouth has been bound. And so they have to go, like, so it's water is greater than fire. We don't even talk about fire very much in this book. Then we have water. And then, so because the water had their mouths sealed by someone greater than them, they went to the earth because earth is greater than water. And the earth had their mouths sealed. Like they can't, so the spirits can't lie, but they also don't have to divulge anything, especially if someone's stronger than them. It's kind of like saying no. And so eventually they finally go into and meet with the wind spirits, and they take off the Lord of the North, the King of the North Wind, you know. But of course, why not? And the King of the Wind tells them some pertinent information about, like, the girls are alive and well, and they are in the West. So someone from the West has been kidnapping the children, but somehow they're getting across the clan line without alerting Torin. He's the captain of the East Guard. He's in the synopsis. He's important, but he's not. And so lots of details I've left out. But then Adira was like, all right, we're going to figure this out. And they end up, like, I didn't mention, Jack has a sister, and he didn't know about her. And so, like, that whole relationship's getting found out. But his sister almost gets taken, but they're able to thwart his plan, and they bring the Bracken into Jack's mom's house, and he gets kind of nicked with a enchanted blade that's like he has to tell the truth as long as his blood flows from that wound. And so he tells them, yes, we've been taking the girls. And then he says, give me a deeper cut. And so he gets cut more. Adira's in here. And so he tells a story about his twin being taken. Kind of. That's the twin was sickly, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, we come to find out that Adira was an heir to the West, and she, her brother, gets left in the East because of his crimes against them. But in order to keep the peace and not start a war with the West, she goes with her mom, the current ruler, overseer of the West. And Jack was going to go with her, but spoilers. I mean, a lot of this was spoilers. But Jack was going to go with her, and he ended up not, because music is not allowed in the West because the spirits, I guess, don't look favorably down on the people of the West, is what I was understanding. It's like the people in the East get the good from the spirits, and the people of the West get the bad. And so, like, they can use magic without like it draining them, unlike the people of the East. However, for some reason, music is not allowed, and that the separation of Adira and Jack is where the book ends. And I am not okay. I need the next book like yesterday. I'm excited to continue this series. and it's been a while since I felt that. I gotta hop on it while I am still super excited. But I've had this on my TBR for a really long time, and it just finally worked out that I was able to read it, and it is such a good book. I think it was really well written. I really liked Divine Rivals by Rebecca, and so like I didn't even put two and two together that it was the same author until I was reading this. And it not that her storytelling was super like her writing style like was super similar. It might have been like it's just not something that sticks with me, but she does know how to craft a good story. And although the cliffhanger in this book is not near as like life altering as Divine Rivals, um, like it was still super good. It was a 5-star read for me. And like it was so good that I had to give you this horrible angle of myself so I could talk about it because I'm super stoked.
All right, let's talk. I hope that the AC isn't too loud, but there is no way in heck that I am turning off the AC to film in the heat in my car. So I'm sorry. I might just have to reshoot this. Okay, making sure it didn't turn on. So this, I'm unsure if I'm gonna put this in September with the Q and R and just do QRS, because some months towards the end of the year I'm gonna have to do 3 anyways. So since I got it done, maybe I should. I'm still debating, but we'll see. So if you see this in September, if I put out the video in September, hey, if we're in October, no, we're not. It's fine. But funny, because this is definitely a holiday theme. However, it is not a fall book. So this is The Sugar Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. Now, I know these books not very well. However, I do know the Hallmark show pretty well, which is Hannah Swenson Mysteries on Hallmark. And the thing is, before I talk about the book in general, so Hannah is blonde in the show. However, I had the biggest jump scare of my life reading this, and she was talking about her red curls. I was like, what? So that means like everything I knew about how they looked and everything is not canon. I guess it's canon to the TV universe, but not the book verse. But I had to have a moment to reconcile that in my head. I thought that I was gonna love this because, like, you know, it has these cute little recipes at the end and everything, and I thought that it was it's gonna be a silly Hallmark type time, you know, like a good time but not deep. Let me tell you, I don't like Hannah and I don't like Mike. I like Norman. I do like Norman, but Mike is way too like misogynistic for me and just very like he just blows her off, and I don't like that. And like then Hannah, I don't know, I guess on like in a knowledgeable level, like I'm like, you, if you're not like exclusive with someone, you can definitely date more than one person. However, in a small town like in this book, her dating multiple people that are like friends, like it makes me so uncomfortable. Like it made me so uncomfortable to see them interact, even though like they're cordial with each other, but I'm like, that's so uncomfortable. But that's why I'm so thankful that I did not live in a small town. This is following Hannah Swenson and they're getting ready. There's like this Christmas festival thing where they do a potluck and everybody well, is it for Christmas? I don't even know. It's just like a holiday thing, and it's like a potluck, and people are trying out others' recipes. It's to see whose recipes are going to make it into the cookbook or something like that, right? Or maybe it was just, I don't know. I don't really remember. But they all get, like all the townspeople of this itty bitty town, like get put into this rec center for this food and stuff like that. And one of the guys just, you know, left his wife and is coming with his a new thing from Vegas, and new thing gets murdered. And yeah, so we basically try to solve that, but the murderer could not have left. So it was like whoever was in the center was a suspect because there was a blizzard, and they couldn't, like, there was a blizzard going on, and so like the killer couldn't leave, and then they couldn't leave, and so Mike was very not present in the book, but when he was, it was not a good look for him. And so I was like, spoilers, I'm pretty sure he does not end up with Hannah, because I know I looked it up when I was watching the show, because I was like, why did he leave? Because I liked him in the show from like the bits and pieces I saw of him, but yeah, no. But then how Hannah was investigating the murder, like, she basically told the entire town what happened before, and like Mike, the detective, you know, had wanted to keep it on the down low. Now, did he do anything? Absolutely not. This is what Hallmark, you know, staked a claim on. Of course, the detectives aren't actually going to do the work, and it's going to be the writer or the newspaper article person, and or baker, you know, like, there is a formula. So I'm glad that I listened to it on audiobook, because I did listen to it about at 3 times speed, because it was not my speed. But if you like a little light, like murder mystery with a little dash of maybe some romance, this might be for you. I am seriously thinking about taking the rest of the series off my Goodreads, like want to read, because I don't know if I'm going to continue to search these books out. Maybe I'll search them out in the library. I have another one of the books. It's like Christmas Cake or something like that. It's a green book. I don't remember. But yeah, I own that one. So like, I have to take responsibility for what I own. But if I can get rid of it, I won't be too mad, because that means there's more room on my shelf. But yeah, that was Sugar Cookie Murder, the S book that I'm going to read this year. I was actually planning on saving it for around the Christmas time to do like a Christmas video again, but I'm not really sure what videos look like the rest of the year for me. I'm just really trying to stay afloat, and so we'll see. But yeah, that was The Sugar Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. I apologize that some of the video, I have this beautiful tone of voice, but I love you and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.